listen to the rules and procedures that will follow for tonight's meeting.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. The following is the procedure that will be followed tonight. The matters will be called in the order they appear on the calendar, with adjourned matters being called at the end of the regularly scheduled matters. Matters cannot be heard prior to their published scheduled time. When your matter is called, please submit the affidavit of posting to the secretary and proceed to the podium and give your name and address. The chairperson will then swear you in and read into the record information we have from your application, comments from various town departments, and any correspondence received on your application. The chairperson will then ask you to make whatever presentation you wish to make to the board. After you have made your presentation, the board will ask whatever questions the board deems appropriate, and then we will ask for comments from the public. If you wish to speak for or against an application, we ask that you wait until you're acknowledged, come forward, give us your name and address, tell us where your property is in relation to the property that's in question tonight, and then please direct your comments to the board, not the applicant or the applicant's representative. We have to keep a record, and we cannot do that if there are people talking over each other or cross conversations. If someone has spoken for or against an application, and they have said exactly the same thing that you wish to say, it will have the same force and effect in the record if you give your name and address, are sworn in, and say that you join in those comments. If you have anything additional to say, please don't hesitate to do so, but keep in mind that you will be given only one opportunity to speak. After the public has spoken, the board may ask the applicant to come back to answer any questions that may have come up as a result of the public comments, or for the applicant to summarize. When the applicant comes back to answer any additional questions, if that happens, that does not start a second round of public comments. Once the matter has been heard, various things may occur. The board may decide the application immediately. It may reserve decision. If the board reserves decision, that does not mean the matter is approved or denied. It just means that the board needs more time to decide, may want to go out and look at the site again, or might want to review the documents and testimony further before making a decision. In either event, the applicant will receive the board's decision in writing shortly after the board makes its decision. If the application is approved, that does not mean that you can then go ahead and start construction, or whatever it is that you requested from the board. You will have to wait for the building permit to be obtained from the building department before your go-ahead. On some occasions, the matter may be continued for another night. If it is continued, in most cases it will be for the submission of documents, a new survey, new plans, or something of that nature. If that's the case, no one needs to come back on the new date. The documents will be submitted and no further testimony will be taken. On rare occasions, a matter may be continued for future testimony. If that's the case, then people would have to come back to testify. If matters are adjourned at an open meeting on the scheduled date of hearing, no further notice need be given unless specifically required by the board on the date the adjournment is granted. 3 rules that may affect your ability to proceed tonight. 1. If the sign was not posted for 10 days, we cannot hold the hearing tonight. 2. If you commence this proceeding while you own the property, but no longer own the property, and you are here now to continue with the application, you will need either the written consent of the new owner or the new owner to be present for the hearing. This situation could come about if you sold your house or building, money was held in escrow at closing for a certificate of occupancy or permit, and you're here tonight to clear that up. Lastly, if your application is a commercial application, and it's other than a renewal, and there is more than one tenant in the building, then you need your landlord to be here. Is there any applicant that has any difficulty with those situations and would need an adjournment tonight?
Is there anyone who would need an adjournment?
Good evening.
Please rise and join the board in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we begin tonight, there are two adjournments. The first one is application 25097, property located in Deer Park on West 8th Street. Is there anybody here on that application? That's being adjourned until July the 31st, 2025. Next application is an application on our adjourned calendar. It is application 25058. Property is located in West Babylon on Gray Place. Is there anybody here on that application? That's being adjourned until next week, 7/17. Okay, thank you.
If you're an applicant, you can come grab your planning memo and make sure to fill out that form with your name and address. Or if you're here to speak on any application, please fill out a form with your name and address.
First application is application 25094 of William Raven and Danielle Raven, property located in Lindenhurst. Name and address for the record.
William Raven, 577 Heathcote Road, Lindenhurst, New York.
Okay, and you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated June 30th, 2025, environmental control memo dated July 8th, 2025. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Michael K. Wicks dated December 11th, 2013. Tax map acting as an area map. And,
Chairman, there's 4 photographs.
okay, what would you like to tell us about the application?
Just an in-ground pool. We're gonna get rid of the shed and try to get a pool for myself and my wife.
Okay, turn the hearing over to Mr. Rigney.
Good evening, how are you doing?
How are you, sir?
All right, buddy. So just pool, 14 by 24 in-ground pool?
Yes.
Okay. Do you plan on putting any pavers around this pool?
I was gonna
What's
do-
gonna be going around the pool?
I was gonna do turf because I was worried about the rainwater going back into the pool. So I don't know what else to use unless you think I should do something else.
Okay, there actually, I see turf is recommended. Pavers or anything of that nature is gonna require more relief, which is gonna require you to come back.
Oh, yeah, no, then,
So,
Yeah,
so
no.
to avoid all that, since you're already over the lot coverage, turf, something of that nature
yeah,
is better.
yes, yeah.
All right?
Really can't afford pavers. So,
All right. And according to your site plan, the shed's gonna be removed?
yes, gone.
Is that prior to the pool
Yes.
going in, you're
Yeah,
gonna remove that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I got no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? The record, there are none? You guys are good, right? Everybody's good.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve application 25-094 with the condition that the shed be removed as per applicant's site plan. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's it.
Have fun.
See if you can get it in quick. Nothing. You can go home. You're gonna get the building permit from the planning department, okay? Okay. You're welcome.
Enjoy your summer.
Next application is application 25095 of Matthew Siegfried, property located in West Babylon. Name and address for the record, please.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. Bernard Rogers, architect. My office is located at 2150 Wantagh Park Drive, Wantagh, New York.
Okay, and do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Okay, for the record, we have a planning division memo dated June 30th, 2025. We also have a copy of the original hearing from January 19th, 2025, where the application was approved and denied. We also have the minutes from that meeting. Department of Environmental Control memo dated July 8th, 2025. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. a survey by Peter J. Barbazon dated June 10th, 2023, tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, there's 7 photographs in the site plan by Bernard G. Rogers dated August 19, 2024.
And your cor-
Item number 9 in your correspondence, you have an email from an adjacent neighbor, item number 9.
okay. What would you like to tell us about the application?
Mr. Chairman, I'm here representing my client this evening, Matthew Siegfried, the owner of 154 Marcy Street, West Babylon. We're before you as my client is proposing to rebuild his pool deck. With the rebuilt pool deck, we will be requesting an increase in total building area from 20% to 30.21%. I mentioned that this is a rebuild because my client was before you, as was mentioned, on January 25th, 2024, with their original pool deck. That deck had rear yard and side yard setback issues, as well as exceeding allowable building area. At the February 15, 2024 meeting, the board denied the setback requests, but granted the building area request in the amount of 30.67%, or 635.67 square feet. We are here actually seeking a reduction of that approval. Our new deck puts us at a building area of 30.21%, or 611.75 square feet. So in a way, you could say we're seeking an amendment of the previous approval. As you can see on our plans, the area of the original deck that was in violation of the rear and side setbacks has been removed, and our proposed deck is completely setback compliant. We feel that this proposal has no adverse effects on neighboring properties or the neighborhood in general, so in conclusion, I'd like to thank you very much for your time and consideration with hearing our request.
Thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. At the last meeting, it was discussed that we were going to put trees in the back. Can we still do that?
So if I recall, I was not the person representing them at the time, but I did review the meetings and I did watch the video of the case. I believe that was discussed on the side of the property, not on the back of the property. And that was discussed when there was a concession that was offered to reduce the existing deck from less than a foot from the side property line to 3.44 feet from the property line. So that was, I believe, item 4 on the previous variance, the side yard setback situation. Now the side yard is compliant. We're no longer in violation of the 8-foot side yard, so my clients don't have an intention of building those trees since the privacy is no longer required. There's no longer a deck in the side yard.
Sorry, sir, it was a condition of the last approval.
I don't believe that was a condition. It's not stated in the minutes.
It's stated in the decision, the findings,
Was,
adopted by the board.
was that in the findings for the decision of the granting of the lot coverage, or was that a finding if the side yard had been granted at that reduced amount?
The findings are the findings of the whole decision.
So back to the question, will you put the trees in?
That would be something that my client would have to answer to. I could bring him up if you wish.
Okay.
Need your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. My name is Matthew Siegfried, 154 Marcy Street, West Babylon, New York.
And you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay. The question is, will you put the trees in?
Well, it was my understanding in the initial hearing, it was a concession to just agree upon those terms on removing the east side of the deck, cutting back a little bit. That was the only reason why I even agreed upon that. Now that the plans have 100% changed, totally revised, and it's in compliance 100% to code, this not necessary to even have, there's no privacy issue. Just to bring up that the backyard of the neighboring house has over a 4-foot deck looking into their yard, and they have no issue with privacy with them, okay? I've been in touch with the town attorney on multiple occasions for mediation. They have refused to mediate with us to make things right, make things better. We are neighbors, we have to act like neighbors. But since they refuse, it's not about mediation, I feel it's about revenge and doing whatever they can to make things miserable for us. So I don't wanna, it's not really about that, it's really just about lot coverage is what the hearing is for. It's not about a civil issue, which
we'll take that as a no?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe it. It's baseless to have going through what the plumbing and the electrical is and all the roots. It's just gonna, it's not gonna be.
That's fine.
Not gonna be an issue.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? Gentlemen, can you have a seat, please? Name and address for the record, please.
Elizabeth Arena, 152 Marcy Street, West Babylon, New York.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
What would you like to tell us?
So, aside from what I was going to speak to, I just heard applicant Siegfried mention that I refused to join him in mediation, and that's for a very good reason. He used foul language.
It's
And-
not, that's really not in our purview, okay?
I
So
understand.
let's stick to the facts of, you know, what we're
Absolutely,
here for,
but
please.
that wasn't part,
Thank you.
the mediation wasn't part of this either. So I just wanted to state for the record, there was very good reasons for that.
Okay.
But getting back to the matter at hand, applicant Siegfried was supposed to recalculate the open area on his property to make sure that there was ample open ground area to absorb his own runoff instead of my property and his other neighbor's property. Since he removed some of the deck, he has not, I believe, submitted this new survey. And I believe that was part of the prior understanding and the decision that was reached from your last hearing of January 25th, 2024. He was supposed to submit a survey. I think it was item number 2.
Say again, I'm sorry.
I think from the last application from last year, I think it was item number 2. It was supposed to be a recalculation of the open area to ensure that there was enough open ground area to absorb his own runoff, because my basement and property have experienced flooding and sogginess because of the overbuilding.
You're saying, what are you saying here, that that was one of the variances, or?
Yes, from the last application, that he was supposed to have done a number of things by August 15,
Oh, okay,
2024,
that's part of it,
which he
okay.
did not do. So I was just wondering, can one apply for additional special concessions if you don't comply with this board's last directives? Are you allowed to do that? Can you move forward and just ignore all those things that this board asked him to do by August 15, 2024, which he has not done?
Well,
Aside from this January, he removed part of his illegal pool deck, which is up against the property fence, was.
that's what he's here for tonight, though, is he redesigned the pool deck, and it doesn't require as much variance relief as he asked for the first time around.
But because of his patio and other building and fire pit and other things that he has on his property, he has his driveway, which I understand is allowable right up to the property line. There's not sufficient plantings or grassy area. So I was just wondering, did he submit this new survey that he was supposed to do?
We questioned him on the trees that were requested to be planted as part of the hearing. Right now, he is only asking for increase in building area from 20 feet to 20% to 30% of the lot coverage. That's the only variance right now that's being requested.
Okay, Okay, so he can move forward with that without complying with the last directive from this
That'll
board?
be our decision.
I'm sorry.
That will be our decision.
Okay, so he has not planted the privacy shrubs, which we will be subjected to additional violation of our privacy and perhaps even harassment as we have before.
Okay. We'll take all that into consideration.
I deeply appreciate that because I have a young girl that lives, my granddaughter lives in my home and my daughter, and it's an issue, a real issue.
Okay.
So, all right. And he did not remove his illegal second shed from the property line either. All of these things take up ground area and is not too much area, perhaps not sufficient to absorb all the runoff.
What's this? B zone. So the fire pit's going to be removed? So the one shed, okay. In the side yard. That's your side, going towards Babylon Boulevard?
I'm sorry,
Are you on the side of Babylon Boulevard?
I'm on the west side.
Yeah.
West side, okay. He's relocating that shed to a legal location. That's why it's not requested as part of this hearing.
With all due respect, sir, this was supposed to be done by August 15 last year.
Okay,
Yeah.
again, we'll take that into consideration. Anything else?
No, thank you very much.
And the fire pit's being removed altogether.
I'm sorry.
The fire pit's being removed. He's saying he's removing the fire pit area, so that would be no longer, if this application is approved.
But we still don't know if it's sufficient open ground area, even though that's removed, because no recalculation was done.
Okay.
You said west.
That was part of the record. Okay,
Thank you very much.
anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? No, you're not allowed to come back up one time. Oh, come on up. Wait, no, there's another lady who wants to come up. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, I'm Ann Olson Baird, 153 Marcy Street, West
And
Babylon.
do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
What would you like to tell us?
Yes, I just want to turn around and say I believe that we should allow him to have this deck on there. Reason being that I know there's a situation with us, but this girl has slept over their house, this child, has been in their pool, they've been friends and everything, and all of a sudden, 3 years ago, cut us off, and now is calling the cops, the town, the
Ooh,
police.
you gotta stop.
So we're,
What's-
okay, yeah.
Tell me about the application.
Yeah, but,
Tell me about the
so therefore, I would
application.
like the application to be improved because of the fact of them harassing, and we're trying to do the right thing, and they're not.
Okay, that's fine, that's part of the
That's it.
application.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? Ma'am? Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jessica Arena. I live at 152 Marcy Street. I live
And
right
do-
next door to the Siegfrieds.
Do you-
I just want to read.
Do you,
You affirm to tell
you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I want to revisit variance 2. I know he talked about diminishing it from 30.67 to 30.21%. That's not very significant open space. I also want to talk about the fact that there was a condition that he had 6 months to put up fast-growing arborvitae trees or shrubs planted along the entire west side of the property, conditioned for him to be approved for our variances 1 and 2. Variance 2 was to be recalculated, and it still has not been. So my question is there enough open ground surface area? And I have to tell you personally, there is not. I have a shrub on the east side of my property, which is on the opposite end of their tar driveway, grows very quickly because we're taking on our rainfall, their rainfall, and after they took the deck down, we still have water coming in the east side of the basement cinder blocks because of the insufficient amount of ground space. So my question is, will there be another survey, and will there be fast-growing arborvitae trees up on the entire west side of the property to offset when it does rain? They had 6 months to comply. They've done nothing but put up more spotlights that are pointing directly into our backyard with cameras.
Okay. Same thing that I sent to the last,
I
yeah, okay.
decline.
Not part of the application, please.
Correct. That's fine.
Again, we'll take everything into consideration as part of the application.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Any further comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to address the recalculation issue again. I don't believe that was any part of the condition of the variances. You guys were unable to discover it yourselves. I'd like to point out the shed on our plans is being relocated, so it's going to be away from the location it was. As you mentioned, the fire pit's being removed. I'd also like to submit photographs of the house today. That clearly illustrates the amount of grassed area that's in the rear yard of the property. More than sufficient. I don't live in West Babylon. I'm not sure how much rain falls there, but it's certainly not enough that it would flow off to neighboring properties. As the board is also well aware, a wood deck is porous. Water flows through it. So the granting of a wood deck would have no difference from the condition that exists right now, with it just being barren grass, as far as rainwater and flow would be concerned.
Okay, so I'm looking at the minutes from that meeting going back to last year. And in the minutes, Mr. Siegfried said that he would have no problem planting the trees. He just wants to bear in mind that there will be a small space where the pool equipment is. That was part of the record from the other meeting. So,
Could he address that again, perhaps change his mind?
say that again?
Could Mr. Siegfried address that again, perhaps change his mind?
He can't come back up again, okay? That's
Okay.
our rules and our
I know
procedures.
this isn't
You-
let's make a deal.
it's not let's make a deal, okay? If you'd like to talk to your client for a minute and then you speak, that's fine.
I appreciate that.
Okay?
Thank you.
Where'd you go? Oh, we're still talking. Time's up. Doesn't Rich have a timer?
So upon further conference, Mr. Siegfried is in agreement to plant the arborvitaes. I would just like to note, for the record, I know this isn't a civil situation, but this is something that was mailed to my client last week. A handwritten note that we feel is harassment.
Again, not part of the application.
It
It's
kind of
not
is.
part of
because
the
it mentions-
application.
it
That's a
mentions
civil
this
suit or
evening's
whatever you
hearing.
have going on. It's not part of the application.
Understood.
Okay, thanks. Okay, we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. You'll get the decision in the mail. Thanks for coming down, everybody. We'll take everything into consideration.
Thank you very much. Have a great summer.
Thank you. You too. That's yours, right? Thank you, Counsel. Yeah, yeah. Application number 3 was adjourned until July 31st, 2025. Is anybody here that wasn't here when I announced that at the beginning of the meeting? West 8th Street in Deer Park? Okay. Next application is application 25099 of Gabriel Ramos and Magnickery? I'm gonna, you help me.
It's, what is it? It's, I gotta look at it myself.
Okay.
It's New Kari, Minaya.
Okay, property located in Copac. Name and address for the record.
Jose Taveras, P.O. Box 1193, West Babylon.
Okay, and do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated July 1st, 2025, Environmental Control memo dated July 8th, 2025. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Jason Lettingham dated September 2nd, 2022. Tax map acting as an area map. And?
Chairman, there's 8 photographs.
Okay, what would you like to tell us about the application?
Well, basically, my client bought this property, I think in '22, but he did buy it, unfortunately, as is. The existing roofed-over stoop was already existing. His intent was to do the other additions that we're proposing because it's a small house, his family's growing. But the front stoop area was something that already existed, so he didn't do anything with it. There is a question as to the design of the additions and so forth, whether or not it lends itself to a multifamily use, but that's not his intent. He's got three children that are growing, and he needs the space. So basic.
Okay, anything else?
That's
it? Okay. I'll turn the hearing over to Mr. Dellavecchia.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Did you guys start this work already and then had to stop?
Yes, he did start some of the work, I think the rear addition, and he got stopped, yes.
Okay. Is there gonna be a basement entrance as well, or no?
No, there's already an existing side entrance that goes to the basement, no basement entrance.
Okay. Are you guys applying for an accessory apartment permit, or is it gonna be single
No,
family?
that was a question. He's not planning. It's for his use.
Okay. The basement will be a 2-piece bathroom, undivided?
Yes. There was an existing partition which we showed to be removed anyway.
Okay.
And leave it as a 2-piece bathroom, yes.
And would you agree to not further enclose the front porch?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? Come on up. Name and address for the record, please.
Luann Marchand, 35 Lincoln Street.
And you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
What would you like to tell us?
Well, I just had a couple questions because it wasn't really clear from the letter we got that they just want to add 1 story to the existing.
Connection with the
Is
erection.
it 1 story or 2 more stories they want to add?
One.
One.
Okay, you can't.
Okay,
Can't do
so
that.
it's just a second floor. It's not going to be a 3-story house like the
No.
apartment building in Queens.
No.
Okay. And it sounds to me that it's just an expansion because we live right across the street and we see that their family has grown.
You guys can
And-
talk at the end of the meeting.
And so I'm assuming that that's what it's still going to be, the single family. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to get clear on that.
Okay.
All right.
You good?
Thank you. I have
Maybe you
to fill
guys should
this.
get together anyway, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Do I need to fill this out?
please. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. You want to do? Good?
Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve application 25-099 with the three conditions: that the front roof over stoop not be enclosed, the basement to be open undivided area, and a two-piece bathroom only permitted in the basement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you
coming
very
down.
much.
Okay, please, just confirm with her, okay? Thank you, appreciate that. Next application is application 25096, property located at Autumn Lane in Amityville. Name and address for the record, please.
Ralph Michelle, 255 West Main Street, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Okay, and do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated July 1st, 2025. Environmental Control memo dated July 8, 2025. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Michael Scalise dated November 5th, 2024. Tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, there's 5 photographs on the site plan by Michael Angelone, dated July 1st, 2024.
okay. Would you like to tell us about the application?
Yes, so it's a single-family home. They want to expand their master bedroom and the second bedroom where their son stays when he comes over. So it's a corner property. Those 2 bedrooms are on the secondary front yard. So all we're asking to do is extend that gable end out on the second floor. So that way the master bedroom pushes out, the second bedroom pushes out. We're not adding bedrooms, we're just making the bedrooms a little bit bigger. The second bedroom for their son, it'll have a sitting area outside, so when he's over studying or doing some work from their home, he has some space. So just to give them some more space in their master, their son have a little more space when he comes and does the work upstairs, or working from home, I should say. The first floor underneath is just gonna be covered patio, so it's just a second-story addition. That way, when they walk out of their kitchen side door, it would just be covered.
Okay, thank you. Turn our hearing over to Mr. Perotti.
Yes, give me 1 second. So question on the second floor, the sitting area, what's the need for the door? Can it not be open?
Yeah, I believe so. Let's get to the second floor. Oh, so that was the existing door to where the bedroom was. So I just left it. So if we need to, we can take that door off and just make it an open sitting area. That way the bedroom, essentially that was the bedroom door. So that would just get pushed back. The closet that got that circle around it, it'll still stay as a storage closet. But we can remove that door and then just make it an open sitting area.
If we can remove that door, that'd be great. If we can remove that door, that'd be great.
I just removed it.
Now, second question. So on the first floor, you're extending 10 foot to the side, correct?
Well, to the side, but so in the back of the house, we're expanding the modified living room towards the back. We're moving the pavers that'll be covered by that second floor addition. So it's a 10'7" front yard setback.
Yes, but you're expanding on the first floor to the side, correct?
Correct, yeah. Well, it's
What's
side
the
but
reason for
front
that?
yard. What's that?
What's the reason for that?
So that's the second floor above. So if you look at the front elevation, you'll see that we're only doing a second floor addition on that right there. If you see on the screen, that's the second floor addition. It's going to have columns holding it up as just a second floor addition. So see that open area right there? Yes,
Oh, okay.
that's open.
Why not just go straight back and up instead of?
So the master bedroom are those 2 windows. There's 3 windows on the right side there. The master bedroom are those 2. So the gable roof goes left to right. So all we're doing is expanding the existing gable, pushing it out towards the right, and just making the house longer. Since the bedroom is already there, we're not trying to relocate all the bedrooms in the house. We just want to say, this is the bedroom. The current existing wall is where that open space is. We just want to push it over so that way the master bedroom gets bigger, and then that space in the back will be their son's bedroom, which we just discussed removing that door where the sitting area would be.
Can't make it 5 feet instead of 10 because you're kind of out of character of the neighborhood. You're right now where the house is lined up with the house behind you.
Yeah.
Pushing it more to the right, you're expanding more, and from the neighbors can't see.
So it is a challenge because it is a corner property, and also it's a curve too. So I understand what you're saying, but when you are coming down that road, there is a decent amount of space to see as you're coming down, and there's a stop sign there. So when you do get to the front yard, it's open. There's the fence that's there is only in the sort of the back side of the front of that secondary front. So as you're driving forward, you can't really go straight because it's a T. So you have to be going slow anyway. Even if you kind of blow through the stop sign, you still have to slow down and make the right. You have enough time to see whoever's coming around the corner.
So then you wouldn't want to just
Make it, well, the whole point was to give them enough space,
well, maybe just shorten it a little bit, not.
I can ask if you want me to
You can
ask.
ask, that'd be great.
They're right here, so you guys
You can.
would be okay if 10 feet versus 5 feet? If we go back. Hold on one second.
Can you move it over? Can I see the rear?
They're willing to cut it down, so that way it will open up more. I'm just trying to figure out how much space I can give them for her walk-in closet. Shoes are very important.
Okay.
So,
I understand. So that open space is just gonna be like a patio area in the bottom? It's just,
Right.
It's just.
yes, yeah, because they don't need, the kitchen's there, the dining room's in the front, the kitchen's there, the kitchen's in great shape, there's no reason to redo the kitchen. It's really just to get they want a little more space in their master, get a walk-in closet, and their son does come over and do work from home, so when he's there, instead of, last time I was there, he was working from his bed, so this would give him a space to put a desk, have his own kind of private space when he's doing his engineering work.
The upstairs is not gonna be any type of apartment or?
Oh, no, it's just, if you notice the addition on the second floor, it's literally just expanding the master bedroom to the right so that they have a little sitting area and watch TV, slide their king-size bed down, and then have a walk-in closet, because they have a very small closet in the room. And then the back side would be where their son's bedroom would kind of get relocated. His existing bedroom, where it says new sitting area, would be basically his kind of home office when he comes to visit. He doesn't live there anymore, but he does come up to visit.
Okay.
But I'll cut it back to 5'7", and if I did 10'7", so if we do the 5'7", that would still give them the walk-in closet. They just won't get the sitting area in their room.
So you would agree to cut it to 5'7"?
Yeah.
Okay. But we would also need to see the plans for that when.
Excuse me?
We would need to see new plans for that.
I will revise them. Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Now, the shed, do you agree that if, give me 1 second, if it's ever to be taken down, it would be rebuilt in a conforming location?
So the shed, I don't know what was requested. Was it just move it or just take it down?
No. If you ever taken it down, do you agree to then move it to a
Oh, if
conforming
it is,
location?
yeah, if it has to come down, they'll move it to the appropriate location. We're hoping it could just stay where it is.
Yes, if it stays where it is, but
Yeah.
if it ever does come down and if you decide to move it or a
Gotcha.
new one, to put it in a conforming location.
I will make sure they have the town code on
Okay.
the sheds should it come down.
So it's shown on the site plan as you're relocating them? But
On
we
the survey, yeah.
advertised it that it wasn't going to be removed, so do you want to keep it where it is?
So the shed on the site plan, it just says, doesn't say relocate here, on the one in the corner? In the back
And
corner?
in the corner in the back, it looks like it's all the way to the fence, but
Ye-
on your site plan, it looks like it's being relocated. So are they moving it, or is that staying? When I drove by, yeah, the shed was all the way in the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's still where it is. It's like 1.4 feet from the north
That's
side.
wrong. I apologize, we have the wrong,
Oh, okay.
so, sorry, that's the wrong house.
Scared me for a second.
Then yes, the shed is,
It's back there.
yeah, so it is in the corner. So if you do plan to remove it one day, just, do you agree to put it in a conforming location?
Yeah, it's gonna stay for now, and if it should ever go down, it'll go back in the right spot.
There you go. That's
Okay.
Thank you.
okay.
Yeah, so underneath the house, that patio, it's just gonna be a patio? This is like,
Just, when it's raining out, you can go outside
no
and hang out.
tables, no chairs, no lounges, no, I mean,
I mean, what would you put under there? That 5 feet under?
it's just an
outside?
open space?
Well, there's gonna be a door there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a door out from the kitchen, so I can just assume if it's,
It's just
you know,
like
yeah,
a passage. Yeah.
Covered patio.
Yeah.
yes, pretty much.
Chairman, I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Okay, we're gonna,
Just gotta hold for the plans.
yeah, we're gonna close the hearing, we're gonna reserve decision, we're gonna keep the record open for the amended plans, all right?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks. That's what happens with all these new young people. Same thing. Next application is application 25098 of Angela Remez, property located in Lindenhurst.
Good evening.
Name and pull that down. I hate when you just like,
Kelly Bennett,
there you go.
1257.
Name and
Udall
address
Road.
for the record.
Kelly Bennett, 1257 Udall Road, Bay Shore, New York, 11706.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, for the record, we have a planning division memo dated July 1st, 2025, environmental control memo dated July 8th, 2025. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. Survey by Barrett, Banucci, and Van Wheel dated March 20th, 25. Tax map acting as an area map. And
The chairman, there's 22 photographs.
would you like to tell us about the application?
The application's pretty simple and straightforward. We're proposing a front addition. It's 55 square feet. This is squaring off the front of the house. The sole purpose of the addition is just to relocate the washer dryer up to the first floor for the homeowner. She is disabled. She's not able. It currently is downstairs in the basement. So this is so her laundry area is all on the first floor. So our existing setbacks, the lot is a 40-foot lot, non-conforming lot. So the area variances this evening in connection with both side yard setbacks as well as the aggregate are all existing setbacks. So you could see that front corner, the proposed addition is about 6 foot 8 inches by 8 foot 2. In terms of the shed, we would love to keep it where it is. We would relocate it to a conforming location if it was ever to be replaced. I don't know if the board saw the front elevations, but it actually will look very pretty. The house kind of has some character to it, so the front elevation looks very nice. I'm not too sure about the comments about debris. When I was there for the sign posting and taking photos, I didn't notice anything. However, I could always find out for the board if there's some questions regarding that comment. And also, we would agree to, I will speak to the contractor, but it should be no problem to cut back the 2 feet of pavers on the side yard, where right now it's 0 feet. So that's something we'd be more than willing to do.
Okay, turn the hearing over to Mr. Rigney.
Hi, how are you?
Let's amend it first. It's number 7.
So you agree that you'll cut the pavers back 2 feet?
Yes.
So I'm gonna delete that variance right now, which
Yes.
obviously means it has to be done.
Yeah, we know that that's a standard here, so 100% agree.
So I'm just gonna do a little housekeeping here. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to delete variance number 7 on application 25098.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I drove past the site, I didn't see no debris myself. Take a ride again tomorrow and check that out, but I didn't see anything when I went by. And you would agree that if the shed was ever to be taken down or disrepair, it would be put in a conforming location?
Yes.
So that would be a condition if this is.
Yep.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve application 25-098 with the following condition, that the shed be put in a conforming location, it's ever rebuilt or in disrepair.
Second.
As amended.
As amended.
I would recommend we add another condition that the patio be cut back 2 feet and lot coverage be recalculated, since we deleted that variance, so they'd have to then do it. Lot coverage.
Could we submit a certified plot plan revised? Because they'll need the finals, we just got the survey updated, they'll need it.
Yeah, we don't need it, they don't need it for the decision, you would
Oh,
need it
okay.
in order to get a final CO.
Perfect. Perfect.
So as amended, as per Katie's comments.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, how do you want me to say?
We're good.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Next application 25101 of Curtis Wright, JMDH Real Estate of Babylon, property located in Farmingdale. Name and
evening, Mr.
address for the
Chairman.
record, please.
J.R. DeCiccio with the law firm of Greenberg Traurig, 900 Stewart Avenue, Garden City.
Okay, for the record, we have a planning division memo dated July 2nd, 2025. An application dated from 23/183 dated December 14th, 2023. Environmental control memo dated July 8th, 2025. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. Suffolk County Planning memo dated June 25th, 2025. Decision of local determination. Take no position for or against. A site plan by James LaSala dated January 7th, 2009. Tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, there's 4 photographs in the site plan by Carlos E. Cala, dated March 25th, 2025.
okay. Would you like to tell us about the application?
Sure. So I'm appearing tonight on behalf of Curtis Wright in connection with its request to leave an off-premises sign located at the property at 1966 Broad Hollow Road, which is currently occupied by Restaurant Depot. The Curtis Wright property is directly adjacent to the west of Restaurant Depot, but unlike the Restaurant Depot site, Curtis Wright has no access or no frontage on 110. The Restaurant Depot site is a 12-acre site. It has a sliver of property to the north. It's known as Glove Circle, and it extends east to 110 and provides frontage directly on 110. The only way to get to the Curtis Wright property is over that private road known as Glove Circle. The Restaurant Depot sign is currently on the corner of 110 and Glove Circle. This board granted approval, I believe, last year for that sign to remain. The proposed Curtis Wright sign is 44 square feet, and it's proposed to be located directly underneath the existing Restaurant Depot sign. The sign location is absolutely necessary to provide safe and visible entrance for the Curtis Wright facility. The sign will clearly identify the location of the facility to customers, courier services, freight deliveries, temporary contractors, service providers, and emergency services. Curtis Wright is a defense contractor and supplier of highly engineered critical service valves. If you want more information on that, we have the applicant here, but because of the nature of their business, they're constantly receiving deliveries of materials, routinely hosting temporary contractors and high-ranking government officials. They have international customers who do not know their way around 110. So this sign is really a key aspect in providing visibility for the facility. Just to touch on the factors of Town Law 267 real quickly, the requested relief will not alter the nature and character of the neighborhood. As you know, 110 is a heavily commercial area, prevalent with signage up and down on either side of the road. Due to the unique configuration of the properties, there is no feasible alternative location for the site that will achieve the goal of the applicant, which again is to provide a safe and visible entrance to the facility. The requested area variance is not substantial. The sign is only 44 square feet and it is much smaller than the Restaurant Depot sign. There'll be no environmental impacts. The sign's not illuminated. And last, the hardship is not self-created. It's really based upon the unique configuration of the lots.
Okay, thank you. So, I guess do they do retail business, or is this
They're a defense contractor.
a defense contractor? Okay. So I guess that's not retail business.
Not retail, no. But again, because of the industry they are in, they do host. Their customers
I get
are
what you're saying about
international,
that.
so
I
it's
get
not
what
like.
you're saying. I mean, normally this board doesn't like off-site signs like that.
Correct.
Okay? But, we'll take everything into consideration. So who owns that property? Is it the same owner of the properties, or?
So the Restaurant Depot property is owned by Restaurant Depot.
Okay.
Curtis Wright owns the two properties to the east. They're actually IDA
So-
properties.
So you have an agreement with Home Depot then to put the sign on their
Restaurant
property?
Depot, yes.
Restaurant Depot.
Yes.
Home Depot, Restaurant Depot, okay. You have an agreement with them?
Yeah, if the agreement's not in place, it will be in place. But they've consented to the application. They're aware that we're here tonight.
It's on that site, okay, okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. I guess I'll make a motion to approve application 25101 for a period of 3 years. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do I need it? Okay. We'll get it approved with them. Okay. Normally, we only give 1 year on the first time around for the sign. I gave you more, but next time you come back.
We appreciate that.
All right? All right, good luck. Okay. We took a vote? Yeah, okay. Oh, good, move on. Next application is application 25102 of LG Lindenhurst Associates, properly located in Lindenhurst. Name and address for the record.
Bram Weber, Weber Law Group, 290 Broad Hollow Road, Suite 200E, Melville, New York, for the applicant.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated July 2nd, 2025. Environmental Control memo dated July 8th, 2025. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. Suffolk County Planning memo dated June 25th, 2025. Decision of local determination. A tax map acting as an area map. A survey by Nelson and Pope dated February 28th, 1998.
Chairman, there's 3 photographs on the site plan by Jerry Murdoch, dated February 25th, 2024.
Okay, what would you like to tell us about the application?
Good evening. We're back.
We're back.
We're back. So just
Are we going to be in court again, or what?
Well, we're going to try to avoid that this time. Just to remind this board, the board had granted variances for this sign in this location, a second directory sign for this Lindenhurst Plaza Shopping Center in September. Mr. Chairman is right, there was litigation from the neighboring property owner due to a technicality regarding the referral or lack thereof to the Suffolk County Planning Commission. we withdrew the application. But instead of reintroducing the same application, we decided to engage with the adjacent neighbor, who happens to be the fee owner of our parcel as well, and reached an agreement on a design for the sign, which raises the sign 1 foot 6 inches. Neighbor was concerned about visibility to their sign, which is directly behind it on Wellwood Avenue. So even though I'm not sure the change makes a difference, I don't think the sign was blocked in any event. We made the change anyway, and are seeking then new variances for the proposed sign. The only difference being we are seeking to have the sign be 1 foot 6 inches taller, and therefore that actually eliminates one of the variances. And I believe this board has received a letter of no objection from that adjacent neighbor. So putting on the record that that objection no longer exists. And we also submitted a expert report from Russell Scott from Nelson & Pope, who's here. He is the Director of Traffic Safety for Nelson & Pope, and I just want him to speak very briefly about his report so we can have his conclusions on the record.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Name and address for the record?
Yes. Hi, I'm Russ Scott, Senior Partner at Nelson & Pope, 70 Maxis Road, Melville, New York.
You affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
So to review the variances, Nelson & Pope prepared the letter that you have in front of you. The most important thing we did was we performed a stopping site distance analysis, and that analysis is for a person to see the sign, read the sign, react to the sign, and slow down. So that's how the size of the sign and the letters are determined. So that determined our area of the overall sign and the overall height. So we did that analysis, and that's how we came up with the size of the sign. The other thing was the number of signs on the property. As you are well aware, there's a single sign on Sunrise Highway. We're on another major road, which is Wellwood. The sign on Sunrise cannot be seen from Wellwood, so the additional sign is on Wellwood. And the other variance is the setback variance. There was a Suffolk County taking on the corner, which was a 15-foot triangle for traffic signal and pedestrian ramps. Without that taking, we would have met the setback distances, but with that taking from the county, we encroached on that distance. So.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, any questions from the board? Okay.
No
Anything
questions?
else?
Yeah, I'm going to go through the variance standards because counsel for the adjacent property owner is here, and just in case we get sued, just like to go through the variance standards, if you don't mind. There'll be no undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood, nor will any detriment to nearby properties be created by the granting of the variances. The proposed sign is in keeping with other signs on neighboring properties and along Sunrise Highway in size, and it's a significantly improved sign from a design and construction perspective than other signs in the immediate area, which are considerably older. Adding the sign to the corner of Spiegelhagen Street and Wellwood Avenue will create a safer environment for motorists traveling on Wellwood Avenue, who will be able to see the tenants in the shopping center and will benefit those tenants by increasing their exposure, which is the purpose of the sign. The applicant cannot achieve the benefit by any other method other than the new directory sign, which requires one less variance than this board previously approved for a sign in this location. The variance requested are not substantial, as the proposed sign is similar to signs already approved and constructed on the immediate neighboring properties and in the area around the subject property along Sunrise Highway. The proposed sign will not have a negative impact on the environmental conditions of the neighborhood, as the location of the sign is adjacent to an even larger shopping center north along Wellwood Avenue, and further along Wellwood Avenue are additional commercial properties. The proposed sign is in keeping with this mature commercial corridor, and while the need for the variance was self-created, many of the businesses which will be advertised on the proposed sign are new businesses to the property, which are the result of the closing of one large former tenant, and that space now being broken up into multiple smaller spaces, which would require these tenants to be noticed along Wellwood Avenue. Again, as is in the Nelson Pope report, these tenants are not visible from Sunrise Highway. So this sign on Wellwood and Spiegelhagen will give them visibility. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone like to be heard on this application? No. Okay.
approve application 25-102 for a period of 3 years.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, the adjourned one is, it's re-adjourned. 7:17. Yeah, is there anybody here on the adjourned application that was on? Application 25058, properties located in West Babylon, Gray Place. That's being adjourned to July 17, 2025. That concludes the